is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. A dad charged after beating his son with a belt. U.S. officials intercepting Chinese and Haitian migrants in a smuggling operation. The deficit more than doubles. And 2 men honored for acts of bravery. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, February 14th, 2025. Happy Valentine's Day. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Coming up this morning, as it is Valentine's Day, we are delving into love matters. Dr. Enrica Richardson's going to be with us. A whole host of exciting topics to get into. One of these is definitely talking about you. And then later in business, our monthly Safe and Sound series gets into the love theme as well. We are talking about romance scams and how to avoid them. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for The Overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a father is facing child abuse charges after he beat his 10-year-old son with a belt, causing bruises on his skin after he lied about not having homework. The 41-year-old dental technician pleaded guilty to a charge of cruelty to children at his arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Evans. The father telling the magistrate, quote, "I was just disciplining my son." The father saying his teacher gave him homework and he didn't bring it home from school. He said that he asked the boy if he had homework and that he lied to him and told him that he didn't, and that he allowed his son to play video games. When the child went to school on Monday, his teacher asked him for the homework and he didn't have an explanation as to why he didn't do it. As a result, the teacher called his father, who's been his primary caregiver since he was 6 months old. The parent said he gave the teacher permission to discipline his son. The father told the magistrate that he beat his son with a belt when he came home for lying. The boy's mother reported the incident to the police when she saw the bruises when visiting her son, leading to the father's arrest. According to the father, she sent their son to him when he was 6 months because she didn't have the financial ability to care for him. Evans ordering the father released on his own recognizance and ordered him to return to court today along with the son and his mother. A Supreme Court judge vacating a trial date for a man accused of having sex with a minor. Antion Thompson's unlawful sexual intercourse trial was set for February 17th, but Justice Gregory Hilton vacated the date after prosecutors said they were proceeding with another case on that date. Thompson, who's on bail, is scheduled to return to court on February 27th for a fixture hearing. Prosecutors allege that the 40-year-old Thompson had sex with a 15-year-old girl on November 18, 2023. The girl was unable to give consent because she's under 16. A man bitten by a shark on Highborn Key in the Exumas. The incident happened on February 11th. Police say the victim was riding an electric surfboard when he was bitten on his right leg by a shark. The victim, a Caucasian, was airlifted to New Providence for further medical attention. And a 33-year-old man drowned at a resort on Paradise Island. The incident happened after 11 a.m. Police say the man was on a snorkeling tour when he became distressed. He was removed from the water and became unresponsive. CPR was administered but was unsuccessful. The government's deficit in the first 4 months of the current fiscal year was more than double what it was in the first 4 months of the 2023-2024 fiscal year, according to the October 2024 monthly fiscal summary report. That report released yesterday by the Ministry of Finance. At the end of October 2024, the budget deficit for the first 4 months of the fiscal year, July 1st, 2024, beginning on that date, was $274 million. The government had projected a deficit of $69.8 million for the full 24-25 fiscal year. Economic Affairs Minister Michael Hakitos yesterday telling the National Guardian he fully expects that the government will still meet this target. The $274 million deficit is in the first 4 months compared to the $119.7 million for the first 4 months of 23-24. Excessive red tape, guardrails on immigration, and the watering down of the regulatory regime have significantly undermined the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, according to Grand Bahama Port Authority Executive Director Rupert Hayward. Hayward, speaking yesterday at Grand Bahama Business Outlook, saying that unlike Nassau, which is overpopulated in his terms, quote, we are a huge landmass here in Grand Bahama that needs to attract a larger population to realize our full potential. Nassau already has a critical mass of people, of means, and an established tourism model. Freeport, unlike other islands, was and needs to be an international commercial hub for diverse foreign direct investment, which is why ease of doing business is so important. Hayward pointing to other free zones or free ports, more commonly known as special economic zones. He says Freeport has to deal with competition from over 5,000 special economic zones around the world, including Jamaica, Colombia, Panama, and Cayman Enterprise City. He said Cayman generates $130 million in trade annually. And 2 Bahamian men are in U.S. custody after their boats filled with Chinese and Haitian migrants were intercepted in 2 separate human smuggling attempts this week. The latest incident taking place after 9 p.m. on Tuesday when U.S. federal authorities intercepted a boat off the coast of Florida with 13 occupants. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, marine interdiction agents from Air and Marine Operations spotted the suspicious boat without its navigational lights on. The boat's operator, a Bahamian man, failed to stop the vessel, prompting agents to fire a warning shot. Once agents boarded the boat, they found 12 migrants who were attempting to gain illegal entry into the United States. One of the migrants, a woman, became unresponsive when the group was being taken off the vessel. She was taken to the hospital for treatment. 2 days earlier, U.S. federal officials stopped a boat that had left the Bahamas and was heading to South Florida. According to a criminal complaint filed in a Florida court on Tuesday, U.S. Coast Guard officers tracked the 25-foot boat as it left Bimini early on Sunday. That boat's operator had switched on the vessel's navigational lights but turned them off at some point once the group was away from Bimini. Once the boat was in U.S. territory, officials ordered the vessel to stop. When it didn't, federal officials fired warning shots over the boat's bow, then fired disabling shots at the boat, stopping the vessel around 6:45 a.m. According to the complaint, 22 people were on board, including 12 Chinese migrants, 7 Haitian migrants, and 1 from Jamaica. 2 men who took turns at the helm of the boat, Bahamian Demetrius Luciano Kemp and Haitian Mike-Wenzi Nestor Norias, were all apprehended. Overseas, a Russian drone with a high-explosive warhead hit the protective containment shell of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Kyiv region during the night. That's according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. But a senior Russian official rejected blame for the strike. Radiation levels at the plant have not increased. According to Zelensky and a UN agency, the International Atomic Energy Agency says the strike did not breach the plant's inner containment shell. That agency did not attribute blame, saying only that its team stationed at the site heard an explosion and were informed that a drone had struck the shell. It's not immediately possible to, or independently, to confirm who was behind the strike. U.S. President Donald Trump saying that he wants to restart nuclear arms control talks with Russia and China, and that eventually he hopes all three countries can agree to cut their massive defense budgets in half. Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office, Trump lamented the hundreds of billions of dollars being invested in rebuilding the nation's nuclear deterrent and said he hopes to gain commitments from the U.S. adversaries to cut their own spending. While the U.S. and Russia hold massive stockpiles of weapons since the Cold War, Trump predicted that China would catch up in their capability to exact nuclear devastation within 5 or 6 years. He said if the weapons were ever called to use, quote, that's going to be probably oblivion. And in sports, lots of basketball news. The St. John's College Giants are now officially a powerhouse in the sport, especially the BAISS level, the Bahamas Association of Independent Secondary Schools. For the second year in a row, the Giants won 3 basketball titles out of the 4, climaxing by the senior boys who walloped the Queens College Comets Thursday at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. The Giants won the junior girls and boys titles and the senior boys title on a day when they lost former principal Cleomi Woods, who passed away suddenly. The Giants junior girls knocked off the C.W. Saunders Cougars 37-29 in the third game of that series Thursday, winning the series 2-1. The junior boys followed and had a tough time against the Prince William Falcons, but got what turned out to be a game-winning layup with 9.8 seconds remaining, and then hit the technical free throws with 2.8 seconds left to preserve a 45-42 win, claiming the series 2-1. And the Giants senior boys were the school's only basketball team not to win a BAISS title a year ago. They took care of that yesterday, spanking the Comets 73-55 to take that series 2-1. And the final window for the Bahamas in FIBA AmeriCup 2025 qualifiers as the International Basketball Federation set to take place February 20th and 23rd at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. The Bahamas plays Cuba on February 20th at 8:40 p.m. and the United States on February 23rd at 7:10. Bahamas must beat Cuba at the least to stand a chance to move on to the 2025 FIBA AmeriCup tournament. Team Bahamas is gearing up for the challenge with a roster. We've got all the names in today's Guardian Sports section. And you've probably heard by now from the NFL, Aaron Rodgers' disappointing 2-year stint with the New York Jets is over, and the team's only Super Bowl trophy is still standing by itself, the Jets announcing Thursday. They told the 41-year-old quarterback that they are moving on without him next season. While Rodgers hasn't said whether he intends to continue playing for his 21st NFL season, the Jets, with new manager Darren Moogie and coach Aaron Glenn, have officially ruled out a return to New York. In a joint statement issued by the team, Moogie and Glenn said they met with Rodgers last week and informed him that their intention was to move in a different direction. Four-time MVP, who's the 5th player in NFL history to throw 500 touchdown passes in the regular season, has 1 year left on his contract, worth a non-guaranteed $37.5 million. That's sports. brought to you by Collect the Beer of the Bahamas, inviting you to Victory Fest 2025, March 1st at Smuggler's Square for an epic celebration of the 2024 Boxing Day and 2025 New Year's Day Junkanoo winners, the Saxon Superstars. The Junkanoo season may be over, but the celebration is just getting started. Enjoy music by Playhouse DJs, Little Giant and DJ Tank, and performing live, Fan Sean and D-Mac, celebrating 4 straight Junkanoo winners, the Saxon Superstars, with Collect the Beer of the Bahamas. It's time for your first look at weather, brought to you by Grosvenor Medical Center. We've got a strong high-pressure system that is currently sitting over the country. That's going to maintain this position, blocking a cold front from entering the northern Bahamas this weekend. Meanwhile, warm temperatures, fresh to strong breezes, rough seas, and isolated showers, mainly in the southeastern islands, will be prominent throughout the forecast into Monday. We've got an air gale warning in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas through Sunday evening, and small craft caution in effect for the northern and northwest Bahamas through Sunday evening. So the high pressure is going to weaken on Monday, and a cold front, a stronger one, that enters the northern islands during the morning hours is going to drift south through the archipelago before weakening into the southeastern islands on Tuesday. High pressure will again build and drift eastwards of the country before another frontal boundary enters on Thursday. Expect cooler temperatures finally and some much-needed showers ahead and along of the front on Monday. Widely scattered showers in the northwest islands, becoming isolated in the central and southeast Bahamas. For beachgoers, you're urged not to enter the central and southeast Bahamas waters and should exercise caution across the rest of the country, particularly on Atlantic shorelines due to the increased risk of rip currents and rough surf. For today, forecast calling for partly mostly sunny conditions for most areas, a mix of sun and clouds for the central Bahamas. Only about a 10% chance today for most areas. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots. Temperatures, another hot day, highs around 84, 85 Fahrenheit, about 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a very warm 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. I'll tell you more what to expect this weekend coming up in our extended outlook. But this weather check brought to you by Grosvenor Medical Center. Screening for colorectal cancer should begin at the age of 45. Reduce your risk for colon cancer and schedule your colonoscopy today at reduced prices for the months of March and April at the office of Dr. Harold Munnings, located next to Princess Margaret Hospital. They're offering an even lower price for those who present their NHI cards. Give them a call today at 328-5550. That's Grosvenor Medical Center.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Dominican Republic, destination for the team. When an all-expense paid trip for 2 by signing 3. Or more money transfers to enter with a deal. With Western Union, you get to see just how it feels. Yeah, esto está caliente. Te varías, really hard to. Hola, hola from the DR. Taking pictures for the gram. just to show you we are. GK Money be the motion, papi, mamacita. Go to Chris Kennedy, the team is ready to start because Dominican Republic, destination for the team. With an all-expense paid trip for 2 by signing 3. Or more money transfers to enter, what a deal. With Western Union, you get to see just how it feels, yeah. To see just how it feels, yeah. With Western Union.
Are you struggling to manage payroll and employee files for your school system? Well, TriBlock HR is your solution to streamline your human resources. TriBlock HR is a cutting-edge, proven digital platform designed to elevate your school's human resources management. From processing leave requests to handling payroll, it ensures greater transparency and efficiency across your operations. Whether it's teachers, administrative staff, or support teams, managing your school's workforce has never been easier. Call us today at 812-2195 or visit us at triblockhr.com.
Are you ready to break up with your car? Easy Car Sales invites you to fall in love with an electric vehicle. Ditch the gas pump, the expensive mechanics. Feel the freedom, the power. Visit easy242.com and make a date to test drive an electric vehicle today. Get into a better relationship. Find your perfect match at Easy Car Sales and drive electric happily ever after.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Fall in love with your water service this February with the Water and Sewage Corporation Sweet Savings Campaign. Pay your bill in full on or before the due date. Complete the entry form and we'll sweeten the deal with a 5% discount on your next bill. That's right, save some sweet cash just by keeping your account current. It's simple, it's easy, and it's our way of saying thank you for being a valued customer. Don't miss out. Offer runs from February 1st to the 28th. Show your water service some love and enjoy the savings that come with it. Visit our website at wsc.com.bs today to learn more. Pay in full, save more. It's that simple with Sweet Savings. The Water and Sewage Corporation, refreshing your life with sweet savings this Valentine's Day.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up,
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And that's going to be our theme today. We are going to be talking with Dr. Rika Richardson, Dr. E, about a whole host of love-themed issues. Guaranteeing you that one of these is the one that you're dealing with. Maybe even two. Maybe all. We'll see. You don't want to miss that coming up. And then that's going to continue right into our business hour, our monthly Safe and Sound series with preventative measures. We're going to be talking about romance scams, cyber scams, and how to avoid being a victim of that. That's all ahead. But right now, let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, a lot of big stories making headlines on this Friday morning, on this Valentine's Day. And you got to pick up today's National Guardian for all the details. A big headline: deficit more than doubles, sharp rise when compared to the first 4 months of the previous fiscal year. But Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkida is telling the National Guardian that he fully expects the government will still meet its targets before the end of the fiscal year. So a lot of information there. You need to read that story to find out what's going on. The other big story, Grand Bahama Business Outlook, quite a few interesting things coming out of that. The Grand Bahama Port Authority Executive Director Rupert Hayward lamenting the weakening of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. He says there's excessive red tape, guardrails on immigration, and the watering down of the regulatory regime, plus intense competition from other free trade, free economic zone areas. And he says that all of this, with all the red tape they're facing and other challenges, Freeport increasingly can't compete with these economic zones, these special economic zones around the world, including the Cayman Islands, with Cayman Enterprise City, with Colombia and Panama and Jamaica, saying that Freeport must offer more to prospective investors like the competition. He highlighted Cayman Enterprise City, says they offer 100% exemption from corporate tax, value-added tax, capital gains tax, and import duties. He says they also offer a 4 to 6 week fast track on new business and renewable 5-year work residency visa for staff of any country within 5 working days. The immigration issue, always a contentious one when it comes to Grand Bahama and Freeport especially, right? And it's some interesting stuff. You definitely need to read more on that. We've been asking about the government and Grand Bahama, and you remember the claims that they were going to buy the Royal Oasis and the International Bazaar. So the minister for Grand Bahama, also at Grand Bahama Business Outlook, speaking about this, according to the Tribune, the government has finalized the purchase agreements with the International Bazaar and Harcourt Development, the owners. And this is going to clear the way for the development of an Afro-Caribbean marketplace in Freeport. So, there's more in today's National Guardian as well. Outstanding receivables left behind by the former owners of the International Bazaar and the Royal Oasis Resort have slowed the development of that Afro-Caribbean marketplace that was announced last summer, according to Ginger Moxie. Moxie says the bill owed to the Grand Bahama Port Authority means that development of the marketplace is delayed because those receivables will have to be settled before the government can complete its acquisition of the properties and begin the development of the marketplace. We were asking just a few weeks ago, how come we haven't heard much about what is happening there? So now you're getting an update. Guardian Business understands that the receivables are 20 years old and hadn't been paid in that time or written off. This leaves the ball in the court of the GBPC when it comes to how quickly the marketplace can be developed, if at all. Moxie did not say during her presentation who will be footing the bill for those outstanding receivables. She said, quote, the acquisition of the International Bazaar and the Royal Oasis Tower and casino properties, as well as the reopening of the West Sunrise Highway, is central to this development and is currently in progress. Purchase agreements have been made with both the Bazaar owners and Harcourt Development, and we are ready to go. Our friends at the Grand Bahama Port Authority have indicated that there are long outstanding receivables of the previous owners that must be settled, which has caused a slight delay. This acquisition has been budgeted for in the 2024-2025 budget for the government, and we are hopeful that we can move ahead as quickly as possible for this game-changing development of our island. Now, with trade between the Bahamas and Africa set to grow, Moxie called the project far-reaching and said its development will have multiple positive impacts on Grand Bahama when completed, saying that the Afro-Caribbean marketplace will eventually comprise exhibition pavilions hosting 54 African countries, 20 Caribbean countries, and 16 islands of the Bahamas, enabling them to showcase their artifacts, wares, food, and culture, and host international festivals. Moxie's also saying that it will also feature a logistics center for trade and product distribution. Grand Bahama Island will become the hub connecting Africa and the Caribbean, boosting trade and improving investment relations between the countries, which will be represented in the marketplace. Through the project preparational phase, we have engaged with Afrexim Bank, the African Union, and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, including creative industry and cultural ministers from Africa and the Caribbean, regarding their involvement in the project. All right, so and there's a lot more from the Grand Bahama Business Outlook in the Nassau Guardian today, including designs being adjusted for the airport and what Hayward is saying about the Grand Bahama shipyard investment. So that's all. But let's get your reaction to what Hayward is saying about the lack of the ease of doing business and the roadblocks they're facing, and that they need immigration help to get things rolling and to be competitive in Freeport. And what Grand Bahama Minister Ginger Moxie is saying about the Bazaar and the Royal Oasis. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. You can call us from Grand Bahama too. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Let's talk about it. Already getting some messages. People say they don't believe anything. Nothing's happening there. Well, maybe they're roadblocks, as everybody's saying. Roadblocks to everything. You don't buy it? Good morning, caller. What say you?
Hello, good morning, President Day.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you. I heard you spoke about receivables.
Yes.
First and foremost, my training is an accountant, even though I'm an educator. I have my bachelor's degree in accounting since 1986. I think in the case of 20-year-old receivables, the entire enterprise, the going concern, should be reevaluated and the debts written off so that the value of the asset is appropriately and currently assessed, and then have a different selling price. And that's about it.
Mm-hmm. You think that's not been suggested to anybody?
Well, we have many specialists. We have CPAs and chartered accountants and all of other people in financial skills and professionals who should know that is the way to go.
See, what I'm thinking, clearly I'm a delusional psychopath because I just take the property. I just take it. You all owe tons of money. You've done nothing in more than 20 years. Right. Go away. Don't ever look at the Bahamas again. And we're taking this. Goodbye. And let's try to forget each other. Why can't that happen? What am I, Zimbabwean or something? I don't know what's going on. But just take it. But I don't. That's why I'm a talk show host. I don't know anything.
That will be private property, and then you'll have all kind of backlash.
Oh yeah,
international backlash.
There are people apparently living in the buildings, right? Homeless people and all. God knows what else is going on there. It's been an eyesore for decades. The whole thing, the bazaar has burned down how many times? The Royal Oasis, come on. I don't understand, but I have problems, so that's me. But I would take it. But thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Maybe they should give you a call to help them sort this out.
No. Maybe we need Trump.
Oh dear. See now I got to cut your call. Have a good weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh boy. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good morning, Dwight. Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you. How are you doing?
All right, thank God for life, Dwight. I think it's okay for me to say Happy Valentine to you and the Guardian staff and the whole Bahamas and everyone else who could hear us.
Of course you can.
Can you please play Die with a Smile for us again today?
Can I what? Who what? Oh, that one? Yeah, you like that one? Okay, we'll play it at some point.
Man. When did that come out? That come out around when that thing with COVID, when that one was dying, we couldn't be around them, eh?
Just
so serious, man?
Just last year.
Just last year.
And it's #1 on Billboard right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Dwight, it's just a story you read about Freeport where the local, how do you say, business people who work in the tourism field are complaining that they're not being allowed to do business with when this celebration thing starts. They're saying that Bahamian was allowed, but they really ain't they ain't local, like from Grand Bahama or Freeport. They must be from Nassau or something. Is this the same story?
It's not the same story, but I did see what you're talking about, and that is very interesting, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But
all of this came out from Grand Bahama Business Outlook yesterday. All of these
they
issues.
Need to work on that. It's not bad. A lot of people say they try everything, and and they was right there for years. So to be anyone locally to be involved, to make some money off of it, it should be the people who've been there a long time. Maybe some people think that's just enough for you, but it's the Bahamians come first. And is this also the same story? I don't know. What his first name is, Mr. Hayward. That's I say Mr. Hayward.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Rupert.
Mr. Hayward was saying that he loved the Prime Minister. Is this the same story?
I didn't hear that, but I'm sure
if you read more in the papers, I think it was quoted on your news yesterday. Said he loved the Prime Minister.
I'm sure everyone wanting to do business in the country says those things.
Yeah, but he also said that he loved the Prime Minister. He has some, what you all call cordial meeting, where the Prime Minister is acceptable and he sit down and listen. He said, but he wished that could come out publicly.
Well,
so I wonder, maybe the Prime Minister has an understanding when they're private, but when he come out public, and I thought with getting this money from the Port Authority, it's the Prime Minister who was saying which I wonder if it's him or someone else in the party or something, whoever. I know the Ginger Moxie woman used to work for the port. Who was pushing it? Because it sounded like both sides saying that they want get Freeport booming and go in again, the government and the Port Authority, but he's saying that he having good meetings with the Prime Minister in private, but he wish he could come out public. I wonder if Fred Mitchell could solve that. Mm-hmm. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. You're stirring the pot today. Okay. Hey, I believe that the money matter between the two, the government and the Port Authority, I think that's a legal matter. They're trying to sort that out with lawyers and stuff. But definitely always interesting times up there in Grand Bahama. All right, let's read some of your messages on this. There are a couple other stories we want to get to today. This person says here, they really should use words payable when speaking, or are you saying should not? Use words like payable when speaking directly about what the bazaar has to pay. I also thought vendors owed them, which is receivables. It was correct as receivables when they said the port indicated what's owed to them. Okay. I guess the deficit is up because contracts to the oligarchs are up. That means time to get theirs before they're voted out. So they won't care about their projections. I can't. I wouldn't know. This person says here, I don't believe anything this government says. It's election time now, and they will spin anything. As Grand Bahamians, we don't buy what they are selling, period. Oh, boy. And this person says here, the Minister of Grand Bahama is a disgrace and failure. Why open your mouth and make announcements if you aren't talking about crossing the T's? Okay, something's mixed up here. What the minister needs to be talking about is how big grown Grand Bahama businesses are being locked out of the Carnival project. Prime example, Freeport Jewelers, the top jewelry company in Grand Bahama, and other Grand Bahama businesses as well. Okay. This person says here, insanity. Grand Bahama Port Authority is asking for receivables after 20 years. They clearly are the problem. Grand Bahamians have been suffering for an inordinate number of years. Government is trying to do something, and that is what the GBPA says. Well, we will continue to watch this story. Oh my! All right. So, on a positive note, there's some interesting stuff happening in terms of good news. You remember this? We talked about this so much last year when that woman was attacked at the bus stop and brutally beaten for what seemed like an hour, but it was only a few minutes until a Good Samaritan came forward. And, that many have been looking for the Good Samaritan, the Crime Stoppers group offering a reward, and now the government stepping in to honor this Good Samaritan and another brave policeman. For more on what happened yesterday, take a listen to this report from our Vonnie Katut. We got the story. We're not hearing it on this side. Let's see if we can get that up again. This story from Vonnie Katut.
Police are highlighting and honoring two men, including an off-duty officer, for their brave actions to help others in times of crisis. Good Samaritan Delano Clark was recognized for rushing to the aid of a mother who was attacked by a stranger on Blue Hill Road late last year. While others stood by and recorded the horrific incident on their phones, Clark jumped into action to protect her.
If I had to do it again, I would do it better. All right? I had no time to think. God just said move, so I move. Whatever's trying to kill me. It was hurtful, So, I also thank Mr. Pratt for coming looking for me.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Arnold Nesbitt Jr., who was off duty at the time, came to the aid of a Defense Force officer who had been struck by a speeding vehicle earlier this month.
That day was very, very touching. But it came from a place of morality, a civic duty as a citizen of this country. What we do when we see our brother or our sister in need of help, it shouldn't be a delay in your thoughts as to whether or not you're going to help. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he gets old, he will not depart from it. And those were the things my grandmother, my family taught me. I came from a place of love. Someone is hurting, someone is in need of help, you get on with it and help.
Deputy Commissioner Anthony Rowe presented both men with awards and applauded their selflessness.
These two incidents exemplify the goodness and bravery that exists within our society, reminding us of the importance of stepping up to help each other. It is also crucial to highlight the partnership that makes this possible. We are fortunate to have long-time community partners like Galvin, both from Fidelity Bank, and also Mrs. Inga Boleg from John Bill Group of Companies with us today. Their commitment to supporting our police force strengthens our collective ability to respond to challenges and uphold safety in our neighborhoods.
To express their appreciation for the men's courage, police enlisted the help of corporate sponsors John Bull and Fidelity Bank. Vice President of Development at John Bull, Inga Boleg, and Fidelity Bank CEO Gowan Bo presented the two men with gifts to further acknowledge their selfless acts.
We hear so many negative things in our society today, and very often we don't highlight and draw attention to those things that are positive. It was disappointing and sad to see that we had far more people who were videoing and recording what was taking place than we had those who were willing to intervene. And it's particularly, I think, important to note that in today's times, it takes great courage to intervene because you don't know what the other party may have and you may be subjecting yourself to.
We truly believe that our relationship with the police is a two-way street. I mean, they are always there for us as a company, as a country, and when they call, yes, we reciprocate in kind.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vornik Toot.
All right, wonderful stuff there, and we salute the gentleman there and everybody who does acts of bravery, and we encourage everybody to help anyone in distress. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the companies coming forward to salute these men as well. Let's take another call, and I do want to get another big topic for today. But good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight. What's up, man?
Doing well. Good morning.
You know, what's so frustrating and what's so disappointed about this whole thing, you know, giving these guys, you know, I mean, we should thank them for their bravery and coming forward to help these people. But what's so frustrating about the government and getting involved in this at this point? You give these guys all this recognition, you know, praising them and all that, and then turn around, release the perpetrators out on bail for $1,000, $2,000 bail for them to go back and do the same thing again. Giving them light sentences, if any sentence at all, again, for them to come right back out and do the same thing again. So what's the purpose?
Oh, boy.
It's just a revolving door. These people committing these crimes, and you're giving them minimal punishment for them to come right back out again. So I think if you want to reward somebody, or if you want to show the country how brave you are, punish these people who are doing these crimes. Make us feel safe. That's where we won't have to worry. That's where our citizens won't have to come forward to risk their life. Punish these people who are doing these crimes. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting stuff. I hear you. Of course, that's complex, isn't it? And so I can imagine you're saying lawmakers need to come and adjust some of these laws. We see the shortcomings on many, but little talk. Just as somebody put it the other day, crocodile tears, unfortunately, when they have the power to change things, right? All right, so, hey, for the most part, I think many of us have been on agreement with what we've been talking about today. I think that's going to end right now. This story here, already online, getting lots of bizarre reaction, but let's see what happens this morning before we have to move on. But this story in today's National Guardian. Dad charged after beating son with belt. Our Artesia Davis writing about it. A father is facing child abuse charges after he beat his 10-year-old son with a belt, causing bruises on his skin after he lied about not having homework. The 41-year-old dental technician pleaded guilty to a charge of cruelty to children at his arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vogue Evans. The father told the magistrate, quote, "I was just disciplining my son." He said, quote, his teacher gave him some homework and he didn't bring it home from school. I asked if he had homework and he lied to me and told me no, so I let him play his video games. And this happened through the weekend, he says. When the child went to school on Monday, his teacher asked him for the homework and he didn't have an explanation for why he didn't do it. As a result, the teacher called his father, who's been his primary caregiver since he was 6 months old. The parent said he gave the teacher permission to discipline his son. The father told the magistrate that he beat his son with a belt when he came home for lying. He admitted, quote, I just went overboard. Now, the child's mother reported the incident to the police when she saw the bruises when her son visited her, leading to the father's arrest. According to the father, she sent their son to him when he was 6 months old because she didn't have the financial ability to care for him. The magistrate ordered the father released on his own recognizance and ordered him to return to court today, along with the son and his mother. Okay. Let's get your reaction to this story, folks. Already, the online version of this, on different sites, people saying some very interesting things. Want to hear from you, though. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. 422-4796. What do you think should happen here? Did the father go overboard? We don't know how bad the bruises are. He's admitting that he did. Was the mother right to call the police for the father on this? And what should be the punishment for this, if any? Let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, and again, toll free, 242-300-5720. Let's talk about it. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, it's me again. I'm a father.
Yes, and an educator, right?
Yes, sir, too. You're correct. And sometimes we even defend children at school, when their parents have already disciplined them. And that's going against the parents. The father admitted that he went overboard. The children sometimes play games between the two parents, and especially in a situation where they're not under the same roof. And even when they're under the same roof. So I think the court and the judge should have leniency on the father. Spare the rod and spoil the child, but not. Sometimes some children are stubborn. No amount of beating will change the matter. But the child should, both the parent, the daddy should apologize to the son, and the son should apologize to the father, and then should move on. So I think he didn't mean to kill him, and he was sorry about it, and give him a nice hug, and he said, "Daddy, I won't lie again because it's about my future. If I do my schoolwork, and I shouldn't be playing no video games, and I have work to do." You can even call the teacher and could have gotten the assignment over the phone.
All right, so does this matter, the severity of the beating? He's admitting that he went overboard. The mother called the police.
No, it doesn't matter because he wasn't directly rude to his dad in anything of the sort, but he was affecting his long-term prosperity by not doing his homework. So sometimes we as adults often go overboard, We may do something. If a teacher was to slap a child for the rudeness of the children would say in school, everybody would say, no, but then the teacher should be smart enough to say, oh my, I slipped up and correct it, So things do happen, and that's one that it's almost like the domestic marriage situation. You can't get into people's home business. So to speak.
I don't know. I see a lot of people saying that online. Thanks for calling. Really appreciate it. I see a lot of people saying that online. The police and the government don't need to get in people's family business. We gotta pick a stance, because for certain things, everybody's saying, "Oh, we need to get involved in these family business," right? But for anything that looks like abuse, you're like, stay out of it. So which one is it? When is the time for the community to stay out and the police to stay out of people's family business? And when is a good time to intervene? It's not making sense to me. Make it make sense. Caller, can you do that? Are you there? Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Dwight, how are you?
Doing well.
I want to concur with the caller just before me a moment ago. I think he made my point. But dear Dwight, you can hear that is a gender war. Gender war in terms of the two parents being civil. The child admit that he lied. And when one lied at that age, it's not a good message to practice lying at that age. I believe every parent would want the best for their child. And being a man who's concerned about his child's homework, that shows a good plus. Now, he may have read, like all of us, in terms of I get it. When I disobeyed my father, when I was a child, I lied to him once and I got it, and I never lied again. I got it. But listen to that case. That is a gender war.
How? How so? Why would it be a gender war?
Gender war is being that I want to, like I said, the first caller, they are not under, it appeared that child, they are not under the same roof in terms of being civil and communicating. So that child now
I don't know if you can say that. I don't know if you can say. We don't know how severe the beating is. It's possible, but we don't know that, and we don't know. He admitted that he went overboard.
I'm only assuming what I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't wish to know, but
so that's
why
you shouldn't say that.
Overreact because the child admit that he lied, and the father admit that he went overboard. But for the child welfare, I think they should both be civil in the welfare of the child. And this is why we have this problem in this country, this poorly socialized behavior, because of a bunch of confused children, they end up in a gender war. That's a gender war.
Okay, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot, and not necessarily so. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning. Hi, turn on your radio for us, please.
Hello?
Hi, good morning. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah. I look at it like this. I feel that the advocates who don't believe in spanking will use the story to validate their particular stance. But I feel that the dad, he shouldn't have overreacted, which is wrong. But I feel that the severity of calling the cops on him was a little bit overboard. I think if the mom and the dad had a civil discussion, they could have sorted this out. Even if it resulted in him taking the kid after the fact, but the mere fact that he had the child all these years tells that she had to trust him to do that. So he may have a lapse in judgment, which I'm not condoning and say that's great, but it appears to be that either them two don't see eye to eye, and this was her opportunity to call the cops on him, in which she did. But I feel that was a little bit overboard, in my opinion.
Okay, but again, we don't know how severe the
we don't know.
Was.
So I'm only going based on I'm under the impression that was this a trend, or they did all of we can only speculate that it wasn't a trend. I'm erring on the side of it wasn't a trend. So anything else will be speculation, and we just add on to the story. Based on what you read in the story, I'm erring on the side of this was a lapse in judgment. He went overboard, and she saw an opportunity to call the cops on him, which she did, and hence this is where we are. That's why. That's what I'm getting from this entire thing.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
One more call on this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. You're on the air, live. Okay, we can hear you making breakfast, or whatever that is going on back there. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Turn on your radio for us, please. Hi, turn on your radio. We can hear you.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, live. You're live on the air.
Okay, thank you. This is how I feel. If there's not a pattern of abuse coming from the father, we can all go aboard. I'm a former teacher myself, and so I understand sometimes even in the classroom we had to, use good common sense. But here's the thing, as one of the callers said, this man has had this child. We don't know all the details because we're not in their lives like that. But he has had the child from early years, 6 months. I mean, that's early. And if there's no partner abuse being reported, then perhaps, like someone said, they could have worked that out and then just follow, and then there are several beatings and they are always, then perhaps that would be something to report. But I feel as though they could have worked that out without calling the law, and that's how I personally feel.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
A few more calls before we have to take a break. Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Yes. Good morning, caller. Hi. Hi, caller. We can hear you. Good morning, caller. You are live on the air. Good morning. Turn on your radio and talk to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, so what I've heard, nobody knows the actual situation was happening. And calling the police have multiple jobs. They're not just law enforcement, they're mediators also. And sometimes you call them to de-escalate the situation. And every situation is different. And if someone feels that the police need to be called, is warranted or whatever, that's their feeling. No one knows what the situation was. People snap. Things happen. You call the police de-escalate the situation, and it move on from there. But don't say, oh, they shouldn't have called the police, or they should have done this, or the person's first time doing it. Listen, first times can lead to death. That's how accidental deaths happen.
Absolutely.
People doing things the first time. So let's not, cast judgment and try overthink something that none of us was there to really see.
And I think that's a good, interesting point you're making. I think the fact that this went to court, the police didn't just come and say, okay, I think...
That's what I'm saying.
Lady, calm down, and this isn't that serious, okay?
Right, that's what I'm saying. The police are mediators too, Dwight. If you have an uncomfortable situation, sometimes you call the police just to de-escalate the situation. That's a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So our guest for our next segment, as we get into Valentine's, family therapist, Dr. Enrica Richardson, is with us now. And Dr. I just want to see if you want to weigh in on this. I think you heard the story. Father facing child abuse charges after he beat his son, after the boy lied about not having homework. The teacher called and said he did have homework, and he disciplined his son, but he admits that he went overboard. Now the magistrate wants to see both parents and the son today. But what do you make of what you're hearing so far and this situation?
One of the first things I'm thinking about is, where were all of the parents involved? So not just one parent. And the fact that he takes accountability helps. However, I've tried to find that some parents have not evolved in how they can discipline their children. So they use those traditional, I call them slave methods, to parent their children. And I'm not saying that some kids don't require different forms of discipline. What I'm saying is that when you're not used to using your words or other forms of discipline, like taking away things or other aspects, we go first to, we need to kind of like beat them to get the message. And if that is the only way a parent can get a message across, you have a problem as a parent. You really have a problem as a parent. And so I think the magistrate is right. Sit everybody down, figure out what's happening, because when it comes to an abuse situation, it's just not one person's fault. Yeah. We need to look into, has this happened before? Could this become a pattern? Because if it got to the point where I'm assuming the authorities were involved, then they had to have some level of cause. Because even when I've had cases where police will come to a house, and if they don't see enough of something, they won't pursue anything. Right. So if it got to the level of the magistrate, we have to think about the fact that something else was there that they thought that it needed to move on.
Yeah. We've got a lot of your text messages. We'll pick this up on the other side of the news, and we'll get into our discussion with Dr. E this morning on love matters. Lots of hot topics to get to. Plus, we're going to take this into business, looking at romance scams. It's Valentine's Day on Guardian Radio 96.9. We'll be back with more Morning Blend in just a bit.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye, and I don't know what it all means, but since I survived I realized wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I'd wanna hold you just for a while.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with you. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We are going to be getting into our discussion with Dr. Edrika Richardson on a host of love matters in just a bit. Dr. E, I just want to I hope you can indulge us in just a second. I want to get through some of these text messages really quickly, what we were talking about before the break. This story with a dad charged after beating his son with a belt. As I said earlier, I saw people online saying how they don't understand how people could get in people's families' business, stay out of people's families' business. He's just disciplining his son. And I thought that was very strange because so many times, like what happened with when we see kids dying, people say, where's the community? The community failed this child. Did nobody see the warning signs? How come no one did anything? So I don't understand. I don't understand when we're not supposed to worry and when we are supposed to worry. These rules seem very arbitrary, and that is the question I'm asking. And so this ridiculous text in response to that, maybe it makes no sense to you, Dwight, because you're neither married nor have any kids. So maybe that's why you don't understand. Could that be possible? Dr. E, you heard that?
Yes. You know what I'm thinking? You know why this resonates with so many of your listeners? Because they engage in the same behavior with their children and they thought about themselves. What if this was me? And really, this should bring attention to them. Am I doing the right type of discipline for my child at the age in which my child is at? Yeah. That is a question parents really need to ask themselves.
And you hear the same nonsense. You hear the same nonsense on the marital rape issue. Hey, you're not married. You don't have any right to be talking about this. Like, okay, people getting raped. Only married people should be talking about that. How ridiculous is that? So should we say that to callers who are like, 42-year-olds living on their aunt's bed, sofa, but they call in about the economy and the deficit and give their views on that? Should we tell them, stay out of this? You're not an economist. Shut your mouth. You don't have any right to be talking about this? Is that what the stance we should take is? Let me know. Just let me know. I don't know. But anyway.
I think you're really only getting that because this is really touching a lot of people. A lot of us grew up in households where what we thought was healthy discipline, we realized was abuse. It's truly abuse.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So let's read some more messages before we move on to happier, well, maybe happier. Are the love issues we're going to talk about happy? I'm not too sure. It might cause some people to question the things they're in today. But this person says here, I don't condone any abuse when it comes to punishing children, but we have to admit time out and taking away the PlayStation for a couple days is not working. You sure? I don't know. I think that will work depending on who your kid is and if you know your child, and if that's what they care about. Dr. E, I don't know how you feel.
So again, discipline needs to match a child's age. Should you be doing timeouts with a kid who's over 6 years old? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? It needs to evolve. At that point between middle childhood, you probably should evolve to more consequential actions for their behaviors, right? Something that they understand. You have to think about their cognitive development. So again, it does work. I've seen it work. I've seen it in practice, and it is used in my household. So just so you know.
Yeah. The texter goes on to say, some of today's rude children really do need a good old-fashioned cut hip.
Okay.
This texter says that father should have been given a reward. Number one, for stepping up to care for his child, and two, being present and involved enough to ask if his son has homework. Okay, sure. But also not rewarded for beating the child so bad that the police have to be brought in and you're getting charged with child abuse.
You know, we're failing to realize, too, the idea that if your child is so afraid to tell you the truth, that is a problem. Why is your child, that's something I also thought about, like, why is this child so afraid to tell you what is going on? And I'm not saying that there's some kids who will hide stuff, you know their behaviors, but even when asked, when your parents give you the look and they ask you, and you have to tell them the truth, you say it. The fact that this child still will not tell the truth after that, it gives me more questions. What else is going on? Why are they so afraid to speak up?
But I mean, that's serious? Yes, you don't want anybody lying to you, but okay, I told you I didn't have homework, but I have homework. Is it the end of the world?
Absolutely not.
I mean, who hasn't kind of like fibbed to their parent before? Not encouraging it, just saying you test your boundaries, right? You test your limits. You try to see what you could do. No?
Exactly.
Also, the fact that he had the child from he was 6 months is telling on the mom. As a teacher, I've seen it so many times where a parent is using any little thing to get back at the other parent. And that is possible. But again, the police generally have a good sense of things. It's right, don't they? And you could come in and see a situation like, okay, lady, you need to chill out. Leave this man alone. Or, wait a minute, these bruises are severe. And the father, again, admitting that he went overboard. That's a serious word here. What does that mean? How bad did this get? And that's why I think there is concern in this situation.
Yeah, I think that's what people are missing. Like, he did admit that he went overboard, and we're not saying that, parents can't use certain forms of discipline. We're saying that it has to be regulated, and you need to, if you can't control yourself to stop, you should not start. Let's just say it like that. If you don't feel like you can stop, then don't start. And then figure out, is there another way we can go about this discipline?
Yeah. This text here, Dwight, you said it. If we have to pick a stance. We always say that parents should be more responsible for molding proper citizens. Now we have a responsible father who ends up before the courts. This should have been easily solved with conversation between mother and father. The lesson is never discipline a child while angry. The lesson is never discipline a child while you're angry. Simple. Police not needed. Perhaps, yes, but maybe this did go a little too far. This one says, there's no mention of the boy being taken to the hospital for medical attention. The mother probably knew a police officer and got the father arrested. Well, just because it wasn't mentioned doesn't mean it didn't happen. I don't know, but I don't know. Let's remember baby Bella, who died after being beaten. It may not be the same situation, but we wished her mother had called the police, or we wish someone had called the police, right?
And again, over the course of this year, I've heard you say many times when you read the headlines how many child situations we're seeing coming before the courts, and that's the only ones we know about. Mm-hmm. This doesn't put more emphasis on the fact that we do need to figure out better ways of parenting and figuring out how we raise our children in ways that are conducive for both parties, because if not, we're creating trauma, a lot of trauma-based things that last beyond just the spanking.
Yeah.
And so, again, we're not saying that spanking is completely wrong. We're saying that it should be regulated. The fact that this father admitted that he went overboard should tell you enough that, this may be the wake-up call that he needed for this. And this may not just be retaliation. We don't know what other factors there are. However, parents need to take accountability for the fact that it is your responsibility first to protect your child.
Indeed. This texture says here, it's just sickening how boys and men are being abused in our society. We seriously need a stronger bill to protect our boys and men from sexual and physical violence.
Absolutely. I get cases like that all the time, and men find it very hard to come up. And when they do speak about it, I still have to encourage them that it's safe enough to talk about, because with situations like this, where it is a male child and we're saying, no, this is the type of discipline they need in order to be a man. And then I question, what is manhood? Like, are we really raising great citizens, great men of the world?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the texter who sent this text about me not understanding is because I'm not married or don't have any kids has responded to what I said. Remember the example I gave about, well, should we not listen to you if you are living on your relative's couch and stuff? So the texter, completely missing the point, says, so Dwight, are you insinuating that if you are poor, your opinion does not matter on things that affect us all? Oh, God. That's exactly what I was saying, right? Should we, what you were saying is stupid. And that would mean something dumb like that. That is not what I'm saying, because it does matter what you think. You're not understand. So I just see I'm wasting time communicating with somebody like you. They go on and say, good thing God doesn't think like you. He chooses the least amongst us to serve him. Where a person lives ain't your business. Oh, my God. Okay, so the AC isn't working in here, and I'm going to lose it today. We might just need to go to the break and come back and talk about love stuff.
Let me say it clearly.
Yeah.
Anyone can offer their opinion, whether they are with child, without child, because there are a lot of teachers who teach their children every day who have no children. So does that mean they should not be a teacher because they've never had a child? It's the same thing with surgeons. They do surgeries all the time. Have they ever had surgery? No. So the same thing with Dwight offering an opinion on the fact of somebody with children. That doesn't mean his opinion does not matter. Just like everything else, we're entitled to share information, and it's up to you to decide what fits. Okay?
This texter says, take the devices. No more games for him, because that's what the father says. He allowed him to play games all weekend because he thought he didn't have homework. Make him do yard work. Make him volunteer at an old folks' home. Make him write lines saying, I will not lie. Make him read the Guardian Radio text. That would be a great punishment to him. Partner with the teacher. Give him extra chores at school. So many different ways to discipline that don't result in, I guess, physical harm. Yes. Okay. All right, so we're going to leave this there. Hopefully this is resolved when they go back to the court today. And we hope everybody ends up in a better place after this. But we just caution everyone, especially if you're a parent or a guardian, to understand that it's very easy to cross the line, very easy to go overboard. And even if there aren't scars, what's happening inside, those are going to be lasting forever. Keep that in mind, folks, from your friendly, unmarried, fatherless Dwight. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Lost in the words that we scream. I don't even want to do this anymore, 'cause you already know what you mean to me, and all love's the only war worth fighting for. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending, I'd wanna be next to you.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
Wake up, it's a new day.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Are you craving that fresh, famous food, but don't want to break the bank? Wendy's has got you covered. You can now enjoy the $5 Dave's deal at all participating Wendy's locations. Enjoy a Dave's single, a classic, or spicy chicken sandwich made with fresh ingredients for just $5. So don't compromise on flavor just because you're on a budget. Wendy's always offers fresh, famous food at a great price. Certain conditions apply.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Are you ready to elevate your day with a burst of flavor? Look no further than Dunkin', your ultimate destination for everything delicious. From our freshly brewed coffee that is sure to pick you up, to our signature frozen beverages that will cool you down. And don't forget our mouth-watering sandwiches, made to order all day. Dunkin' has it all. And of course, our lineup of fresh donuts, muffins, and more. Dive into a world of yummy flavors at Dunkin' and bring joy to your day. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Spain sounds like this. But with a little Caribbean, it can sound like this. The world needs more Caribbean. And with FedEx, you can ship your products to every corner with increased cargo capabilities, 24/7 shipment tracking, and shipping tools. Take your business worldwide and enjoy life a bit more like us.
Here's a price list of some of the roofing material we carry at Pinda Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68. Gray Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50. 30 pound, $19.80. Owens, Corning Duration Shingles, and Certain Teed Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon of roof cement, $33.47. All sizes treated dimensional lumber. And of course, we have all nails and all screws. We have 5/8 sheetrock, $28.76. Half-inch sheetrock, $22.18. All prices include VAT.
With escalating global conflicts, are you ready for what's next? Join us at RF Bahamas Economic Outlook on March 12th at Bahamar, where top global and local experts will break down the key economic, political, and social trends shaping our future. Hear from KT McFarland, former Trump National Security Advisor, and more. Plus, gain CPD credits, powerful insights, and high-impact networking all in one day. Don't miss out. Secure your spot now at rfbeo.com. That's rfbeo.com. RF Bahamas Economic Outlook. See you there.
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Only get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes. Real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
It is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. Here is what's happening on this Valentine's Day for your weather. As we head into the weekend, we've got a strong high-pressure system currently sitting over the country, maintaining the weather we're seeing. Warm, very warm, and just a few showers, isolated showers in places. That is also blocking a cold front from entering the northern Bahamas this weekend. So the warm temperatures, fresh to strong breezes, rough seas, and isolated showers will continue across the area, especially the southeastern Bahamas through Monday. So high pressure is going to weaken on Monday due to a strong cold front that's going to enter the northern islands during the morning hours. That front's going to drift south through the archipelago before weakening on Tuesday over the southeastern islands. High pressure will again build and drift eastwards across the country before another frontal boundary will enter by next week, Thursday. Expect cooler temperatures and much-needed showers ahead and along the front on Monday, with widely scattered showers in the northwest Bahamas becoming isolated in the central and southeast Bahamas. So finally some changes coming. We've got a near gale warning in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. That will continue through Sunday evening. Smoke-craft caution in effect for the northern and northwest Bahamas. And beachgoers should not enter waters in the central and southeast Bahamas and should exercise caution across the rest of the country, especially along Atlantic shorelines, due to the increased risk of rip currents and rough surf. Today, though, still going to be partly mostly sunny and very warm. Less than a 10% chance of showers for most areas. We're looking at highs in the mid-80s again, 84, 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a very warm 72 degrees Fahrenheit. It is February, folks. What's going on? 22 Celsius. Extended outlook for tomorrow, Saturday, partly sunny during the day, fair and mild at night. Sunday, pretty much the same. But Monday, some changes. Partly cloudy to cloudy across the northern and northwest Bahamas. Partly to mostly sunny for the rest of the country. A 20 to 40% chance of showers for the northwest and northern Bahamas. By Tuesday, partly cloudy. And some slightly cooler temperatures at night for the start of your work week. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check also brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales is turning up the romance with electric vibes. Take a test drive in an EV during the month of February, and you'll be entered to win a 2-night stay at the Grand Hyatt with a $500 resort credit. Visit easy242.com and feel the love from Easy Car Sales this February. And time for a check of your traffic for this morning. It is Valentine's Day, but you will not love the streets of New Providence this morning. It is looking terrible out there, so we've got a number of hot spots to tell you about. Independence Drive, both directions. You're backed up between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road, westbound and eastbound this morning. Not pleasant for you at all. Your alternate routes are also busy, especially Soldier Road. Lots of traffic both directions, especially between Windsor Place and East Street. And we're seeing on Blue Hill Road from south of Carmichael's, actually from St. Vincent all the way up to Independence Drive. You're going to be seeing that heavy northbound traffic, especially near Carmichael Road traffic, backed up eastbound on Carmichael nearly to Fire Trail this morning. And Milo Butler Highway easing up now, just north of Fire Trail. As you approach Harold Pond, you'll see that heavy traffic northbound at this hour, but traffic slow moving along Tawny Williams Darling Highway in both directions towards that roundabout. Then we've got over on Gladstone Road, still busy for you from Fire Trail straight up to John F. Kennedy Drive. West Bay Street near Nassau Street, just east of Arawaki, you're seeing slow-moving eastbound traffic, but also westbound coming from downtown. And Bay Street looking a bit busy for you this morning. We've got Eastern Road, slow-moving, but not as bad as normal from Fox Hill to about Johnson Road. Prince Charles at the major intersections, especially Soldier and heading into Robinson at this hour. That's what we're looking at right now. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
The Water and Sewage Corporation is rolling out new digital meters designed to give you more accurate readings. With advanced technology, you'll be able to monitor your water usage in real time, get more accurate bills and early leak detection to avoid costly surprises. Better service starts now. Watch for our installation team in your neighborhood and get ready to experience the convenience of digital meters. Follow us on our social media platforms for more information. Digital meters from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Innovative, convenient, and designed for you.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Where is our love? Where is the love you said you'd give to me as soon as you were free? Will it ever be? Where is the love? You told me that you didn't love him and you were gonna say goodbye.
We are back with the Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Friday, Valentine's Day, and we are talking about love matters on the show today. Dr. Rika Richardson, marriage and family therapist, back with us. All right, so we're getting into our issues finally, Dr. E, and thank you for your input for before. But you've been communicating, and you sent a list of really exciting topics, and I actually think we should talk about all of them. But there's one based on what we've been talking about so far this morning that we need to begin with, and that is, did my family teach me love? And based on the conversations we have almost every day on this show, and what we were talking about this morning with Lynn, you have to wonder if plenty of Bahamians have been taught the opposite of love by their family members. What say you on this?
Well, one of the things when I thought about that topic is when I hear people constantly talking about their need to, feel safe, feel loved, to feel in a place where they're just appreciated, I think, where were your parents? Because it really starts with that. Those intimate relationships you have with other humans, is the first ones are with your parents, where you feel safe, where you feel attuned, where you feel nurtured, where you feel like your family can provide you unconditional support. They could enhance your individual characteristics. They create that safe, deep emotional connection. And if the answer that you didn't get any of that from any of your parents, then you may not really know what love is.
Wow.
And so then you go and try to find it in other relationships, other spaces, and not all of those spaces are healthy places for you. And so we know, and we heard this morning, there are a lot of people who obviously did not come from loving families. And so we really want to teach them what healthy love is. Because if we think that, healthy love involves amounts of abuse, then, we really got to go back.
So let me ask you something. When someone says that to you, do you ever think, or do you ever find that they mean, I want to find what I got from my parents in my partner? Is that not ever the case?
Meaning that they want to find those same characters.
Right. I felt that as a child, and I need that in a partner. You don't. That's very uncommon, or something. What do you say?
Well, what I mean is that if they have unhealthy love growing up, they tend to find unhealthy relationships. And so it continues in a pattern.
Yeah.
And so we see it. The biggest way we see it is in attachment styles, right? We have to understand that attachment is connected to love. Right? And so how your parent has attached to you growing up, whether it was a negative or a healthy attachment style, you'll see it throughout your relationships, whether you're anxious all the time, whether you're avoidant all the time, whether you're disorganized or disoriented all the time, or whether you have a secure type of love. And what a secure type of attachment looks like is that you can be in a relationship with somebody, continue your independence, but know when to come together at healthy times. You don't need this constant need for validation, reassurance. You will get those, but they don't have to go overboard for you to feel secure in the relationship.
All right, so how does a family do that? How do you teach someone to love, to be prepared for a future relationship?
One of the first things you do is each person has to figure out what safety means for them. Because what safety does for a lot of relationships, it allows you to get vulnerable and open up to the person about your wants, your needs, some of your insecurities, things you want to grow in life. And so families start by doing that from when you go to school this morning. Hopefully on the way to school, you're telling your children, talking to them about having a good day, affirming them in their abilities and their beliefs. And when they get home, checking in with them again about how everything went and spending some time with them outside of electronics, right? That quality bonding time. Same thing we mirror in adult relationships. This morning, hopefully you woke up and you told your partner, good morning, have a good day, check in with them about what they have a plan for their day today. You may go throughout the day, you may send them a message just checking on them, and then in the evening you reconnect, right? Those things are modeled early on, and then they follow us throughout the rest of our lives. So that's one of the biggest things we want to look out for first. Wow. Then we look at the ability to communicate. Can you talk to me without every time we have a discussion, a conversation, that you're getting elevated in your tone, that you are able to express the thoughts in your mind? Are you just letting them swirl around in your head but not coming out of your mouth? All of those things are created very early on, where your parents create safe spaces for you to talk, right? Even when things get tough. One of my nieces reminded me the other day, and she was talking to one of her friends, and I didn't realize how big of a deal this was. And she said, one of the things I've always had a relationship with my aunt was because she always told me, no matter what, if I call her, no matter what time of the day it is, and I need to be picked up, it's a no questions asked thing. I just know I have somebody safe to depend on.
Wow.
And you get one get out of jail free card.
Okay. All right. So if you grew up in a toxic environment, you did not hear these wonderful things, these affirmations, you didn't hear I love you, you've spoken to harshly every day of your life, multiple times a day, can you be a healthy part of a relationship with somebody? Is it possible, or will you always require therapy, or can you just will yourself to say, I'm not going to be like what I experienced as a kid?
Most people try to do the opposite of what they grew up with. So like they may try to be the opposite of that like toxic lifestyle they grew up with. But a lot of times if you don't do the work, it will show up eventually for you. No, you do not have to be in therapy your whole life, but at some point you have to address the emotional trauma that was created so that you don't carry it on for generations to come. And so one of the things you can do is you got to start working on yourself and acknowledge those things that may have impacted your life and your lifestyle so that they don't become a pattern. A lot of us have bad habits. We don't communicate with other people in a healthy way. We don't share our ideas and thoughts. We don't feel safe enough even with some of our friends to just tell them what's going on with us. And all of that started very early on. So you have to work on creating those atmospheres for yourself. Work on affirmation, something as simple as positive words you speak to yourself. The self-talk. I mean, some of the things we talk to ourselves and say on a daily basis is so harsh that we don't even allow others a space to love on us. So we got to start with ourselves and taking inventory so that we can do better.
So that leads to one of the other topics. Are we in love? Are you in love with potential? And is the person anywhere near that potential at all?
So my new example of this is if there was a grading scale. In school, we all have a grading scale, A, B, C, D. Usually A is 90 and above, a B is 80 and above, a C is 70, and then after that, it really doesn't count. What potential is like dating somebody who has maybe typically a C or D grade, and we're hoping that someday they will get to an A grade. And typically any teacher will tell you, most students will move up maybe one grade letter. Every now and then they may, excel on a particular test, but that's not going to be them overall.
Wow.
That may not be their thing.
Even if they practice and study and get tutoring, you can't move up to, no?
You can move up, but is it going to be consistent? And so in relationships, we look for consistency. So what I want to tell people is if you're grading that person you're with now already at a C or a D grade, the likelihood that they would become an A partner for you is highly unlikely because they have to want to do it for themselves. They might just not want to do it for you. And so what potential is saying is that, I see the 65, I see the 70%, and I'm just really, that potential is they can make that 35% at some point in our relationship, at some point. But is it going to be consistent? And most of us need consistency in relationships. So I offer everybody should grade the person honestly and ask yourself, if this is as good as it gets, can I live with this for the rest of my life? And if the answer is no, then you need to stop dating potential because it's potentially not going to happen.
Wow. Even if they're really nice and they treat you well, but this is as good as it gets.
There are a lot of people who have great intentions, but if that intentions don't turn into action, they're just intentions.
Wow. Should you let your partner know that you're doing this exercise? Yeah, I'm going to grade you, and I'm going to tell you what your grade is.
No, that is a personal thing you should do for yourself. Because I guarantee that you've already had this conversation with your partner several times about those areas that you want or that you require of them. And again, that's what we need. We have certain expectations. Don't mean that we don't need to check our expectations because some of them can be unrealistic. However, if you've been asking a person, this is a good one. It's Valentine's Day. Some of y'all have been in this relationship for 10 years and you have asked for flowers for 10 years. And if today you ain't get it, there is no potential that will happen.
Flowers, that's the least of your concern. Okay. So what if you're C and you're C grade for now, but you get sent off to finishing school or something, and you separate yourselves, and in a few years you're suddenly an A. Should you go back to that, or what do you say in those situations?
Just like schoolwork, you need to see the consistency over time. So if a person is willing to be open to see that person's upgrades, and you can work through the things in your mind, because what will happen is you will keep looking for the things that let you down the first time. And if you can't be open to that change, then it may not be the best situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, should the A grade student now say, well, you didn't want me when I was up and coming, when I was a C grade, so I don't think I want to deal with you now that I am A class.
And you know what? That's okay, because when I saw you at that stage and I saw the things that could have developed, you didn't think I was good enough to develop them for me. So it's okay.
Okay. All right, so listen to this. This text here, this person says here, this is based on what you've been talking about already. Most of these things probably work with people of past generations, but with millennials and younger, they like rough and bad treatment. The population on Earth is doomed if they don't perfect external procreation via artificial womb soon. Wow, they got crazy towards the end there.
Lot.
But is that accurate? Are we seeing younger people thinking, like, the bad treatment is a sign that you love me? And I think there were some older people who certainly that's been their mantra. But what do we say about that? Are you noticing that?
I'm not noticing that to be a trend. What I am noticing, though, with the younger generations is their tolerance to stay in situations, surpass their evolution is not happening. So they don't have the same tolerance. We see it in their workplace. We see it in relationships that they are going to do what our grandparents did and stay in those situations. So I don't actually agree with that.
Okay. All right. Wow. All right. So this is very interesting. Did you fall for the rom-com ideal? Explain that to us, and then let's get into it.
Many of us grew up watching Disney princess movies, or we grew up watching the Hallmark specials, or the rom-coms that came with all the love and happy ending at the end of the story. And we want our relationships to mirror those things we saw. And the reality is we live in reality. A lot of our relationships don't evolve with, the Prince Charming coming on the white horse and picking us up, or the fact that we're going to marry the billionaire. There are potential for all of those things to happen. But some of us, and I'm talking more to women at this point, we need to get back down to reality as to what is the pool in which we're dating in, and the likelihood that they may live up to those expectations that we created that we did not make them aware of. Sometimes as women, we want that rom-com to live out in our real life, and when it doesn't, we kind of throw a hissy fit. We can get very upset, very mean, very aggressive because it isn't happening. And we need to check ourselves to realize, okay, what is our actual reality? Now, it does not mean some people don't get those moments, or the fact that we can find people the potential to give us some of those things. But what is the actual reality we're living in? And what are we bringing to the table as well?
Yeah, wow. All right, so some of these, I think we need to come back to these, Dr. E, as full segments. So over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll do these. This is a deep one, and I want to do this as a whole show. The longer we've been together, the less I love my partner. Wow.
Yeah, I'm coming back to do a whole show on that one.
Definitely.
The stories I can tell.
That is tough. But let's focus on this, and I want to take a few calls before we move on. But this one here, the 3 C's of love. Tell us about those 3 C's. What are they, and how well are we doing as a population when it comes to them?
I think we are trying to see how well they exist. But the 3 C's are communication, collaboration, and commitment. So communication obviously is open, honest dialogue where you and your partner can express your needs, your feelings, your concerns clearly with understanding. Let me add that, clearly with understanding. Because a lot of times what we find in communication is that sometimes you're talking at the person, sometimes you're talking around the person, but not with the person, right? And so you have to make sure that there is an environment created where understanding can happen, so you can truly be listening to them to come to either some level of resolution or, again, just understanding. Then there is collaboration. How can we meet and figure out how both of our needs can be met? And maybe not all of them, but we don't feel like we're losing anything. The reason I like collaboration over compromise is the idea compromise means somebody loses something versus collaboration means we work together to figure out what works for us and that it lessens the disagreements, but nobody feels like they're losing anything. And then the last C is commitment. Have I made a conscious decision to stay dedicated to this relationship and work through it, work through the challenges? We know that there are some people, as soon as things get a little rough, they get going. And so how we're doing on the 3 C's, most relationships will typically maybe do well on 2 of the two C's, like maybe they'll do well on collaborating or maybe even the commitment sometimes. But is it truly happening? And then they lack the communication or vice versa. So I think as a if I had to give everybody a grade on that, I would say we're probably at like a C grade, a 70%. We can do much, much better on our commitment to growing in those areas.
Yeah, wow. All right, so I have a big question to ask. I'm going to ask that after these calls, and you can call in really quickly, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Calls toll free, 242-300-5720. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us, 422-4796. We're talking with Dr. Edrika Richardson, Dr. E., marriage and family therapist. Let's hear what you have to say. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dr. E, and good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dr. E gave great information. I'm not married, but I just wanted to comment on something because, firstly, abuse for me, as far as children, would be beating them more than once continually. And so something you said is very profound that I actually found out naturally. Don't beat the children if you feel you can't stop. And so I thought that was very, 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 very important because my 25-year-old, she doesn't even remember me beating her. I think I did it once, but she was young. But it wasn't, I didn't get carried away, but she had done something, just like empty out the whole part. It was something simple, but I thought over and over was where the problem lies. So I thought that was very important. Also, my 9-year-old and my 2-year-old, they're doing something, he's about to be 3, and they're doing something that I don't think I ever did. But I mean, they, little children, they always have this little sibling rivalry, but the age difference is like about 5 years or 6 years. And so they have little problems, but they always hug one another. And so all of a sudden he's getting up when time for me to carry her to school, etc. They hug and they show affection and they show love. It confounds me. I think the way how you grow them up. And so my 9-year-old, she always hugs me, and she always says, Daddy, I love you. And she always says it. And I don't know if she's teasing me, but she always wants to hug me. I'll just hang up and listen.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Dr. E, any comments?
No, it sounds like you've realized what works for your children, and you've created a space where they feel like even when they kind of have disagreements, they come back and they show each other love, and that's so important, and that's going to take them far.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Final call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Usual, Dwight, your guest. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, this is a very important topic you guys are having. I think that we personally don't know what love is. Let me explain. We associate love with things. I'll give an example. If you want to show your son love, you normally go buy him a PlayStation 5. If you want to show your daughter love, you normally buy her a doll. Sometimes the child just wants time. And then in adults, right, we really don't know what love is because we don't date. We sleep with one another, and then afterwards we find out the individual's name and try to find out about them after we already had sex with them. Wow. We don't date in the Bahamas, so we don't even know the individual. So that's become a problem also.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Big problems there. Thank you so much for that, Dr. E. Wow.
I totally agree. I think that we have to understand what dating is and the levels of dating. You should really first be getting to know somebody. Just because you're getting to know them, you're not in a relationship, you're not in a commitment, and you don't own the other person. You're just getting to know them. Then you go into dating them where you're getting to know them more intentionally, and then it may be exclusive dating. And then after that, when y'all decide that y'all are going to make this a relationship, then things change. But we need to evolve with the levels of dating. And because we don't do that, a lot of times we run into love errors.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the issue is? That's been the cry since I was a child. Is it the size of the population, the size of the island? Why aren't we doing a better job of that?
I think we don't have a lot of information, again, on what healthy relationships look like. And I think that creates a lot of the issues. And now a lot of the information is coming from social media of what people are seeing, what looks like healthy relationships. And so we need to have more conversations. And it starts in the families. It starts from very young, mirroring these things or talking about it. And even if you come from a single parent household, it's for your parents talking to you about and showing you what healthy things look like so that when you grow up and you can create your own families, you know what's best.
Yeah. Let's see, let's see if we can squeeze this person in really quickly. Caller, you got only about a few seconds. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning to your guests. Only two things I want to say. The main thing for persons and children and the country and the trust and even government and authority is the word is bona fides. That's spelled bona fide with an S on it. That means honesty and sincerity of intent. And then the word perfidy, to put up the safeguard against deceit and untrustworthiness. That's what I want to say to the nation and to everybody when you talk about love and trust.
Okay.
And have confidence in anyone.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right. So, Dr. E, it's Valentine's Day. A whole lot of people are probably going to be quite disappointed by what happens today. They might not get the flowers like you mentioned before, or they might not get the ring. They might not get the chocolates or the food or the happy endings they might have wanted today. What do you say to people who are putting so much into this one day and going to find out some things about the relationship and the person they're with that they're not going to like?
First thing I would say is hopefully you've communicated with your partner about what this day means for you. There's some couples I know who don't celebrate Valentine's Day because that's a choice in their relationship. Then that works for them. But if it's something that is important to you that you want to celebrate and you've communicated that with your partner, and they have decided to dismiss those things, and you have to take that into consideration because the likelihood of that changing is not going to be much. And then I would say to the people out there who are expecting a Valentine's Day because you give up Valentine's Day treats without ever getting anything, you should really reconsider if you don't get acknowledged on Valentine's Day.
Any final words you want to say to the people out there after all the things we talked about today and are really going to take a critical look perhaps at their partner and their relationships?
I want everybody to work again on those 3 C's, which is communication, collaboration, and commitment in all of your relationships to make sure you are taking a very intentional practice into those areas and not just looking at what your partner's not doing. What are you doing? And most importantly, practice self-love, that true appreciation and respect you have for yourself so that can improve your mental health, it can improve your relationships, and it can empower you so that you can be the best version of yourself.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Dr. E, always a pleasure. We're going to arrange a time so we can talk about those other hot issues, maybe during the month of love, but soon we'll do that. Thank you so much, and you're going to stick around for us as we get into our Safe and Sound series in business. Today, we're keeping that Valentine's theme going. Romance scams, a lot of cyber security hacks, threats, dangers out there masquerading as something else. We're going to talk about that with Gamal Neri coming up in just a bit. After this news break, this is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Where is the love you said you'd give to me as soon as you were free? Will it ever be? Where is the love? You told me that you didn't love him and you were gonna say goodbye.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
It's the lottery of love.
at Everybody Wins.
I love you.
Everybody Wins is giving away over $100,000 in cash prizes in the Lottery of Love.
I love you.
All February long, every $20 spent, you'll receive a raffle ticket. The more you spend, the more chances to win. And you could be among the 30 winners randomly selected on February 28th to win $10, $20, or even $30,000.
I love you.
It's the Lottery of Love at Everybody Wins. Remember to game responsibly and get ready to win.
On Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m., the Bahamar Convention Center will set the stage for an unforgettable celebration of 25 years of giving back and supporting healthcare education in the Bahamas. Experience a night of excitement with exquisite fine dining, captivating live entertainment, and an inspiring atmosphere as we come together to celebrate and shape a brighter, healthier future. Tickets are available now. Reserve your spot today by emailing dhfoundation@doctorshosp.com or calling 242-302-4640. Sponsorship opportunities are also available to show your support for this important cause. The Doctors Hospital Maya Rassin Foundation, 25 years of transforming healthcare and building a legacy. Don't miss this special celebration.
Are you ready to break up with your car? Easy Car Sales invites you to fall in love with an electric vehicle. Ditch the gas pump, the expensive mechanics. Feel the freedom, the power. Visit easy242.com and make a date to test drive an electric vehicle today. Get into a better relationship. Find your perfect match at Easy Car Sales and drive electric happily ever after.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, February 14th, 2025. It's Valentine's Day here, and once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Every second Friday each month, we have our Safe and Sound series with Gamal Nuri with preventative measures, and Gamal Nuri is joining us now. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Good to be here. How's everybody?
Doing well, doing well. Hope you're enjoying the day. So we're keeping with the theme. Dr. E is sticking around with us. Dr. Edrika Richardson, marriage and family therapist. In keeping with the Valentine's theme, we are exploring love and security on Valentine's Day, romance scams, cyber stalking, and exploitation. Oh boy, that's a big one. That's a big one there. So how big a problem is this, Gamal? We know about the shows like Catfish, and we know people set up fake profiles using pictures they find from other people and pretend to pass them off as themselves. But is it a one-off thing here and there, or is this a big problem?
This is a big business. This is business. And this is where individuals are targeting vulnerable persons and in an effort to make money. It's in the U.S., I think the 2023 stats, I don't have the 24 stats available, but the 2023 stats indicated $1.7 billion
Wow.
romance scams and related type of instances where persons were duped, where their emotions were taken advantage of, and they paid out money for one reason or the other. So it is indeed big business.
You
And
said
persons,
billions?
1.7 billion
Oh my goodness gracious.
with a B.
With a B.
With a B. And when you look at it, the cyber scams across the board. When you look at the other types of incidents, right, it accounts for about almost $10 billion
Wow.
in fraud, and so the romance scams are about 10, roughly, if my math, 10 to almost 20% of that intake. So it's big business.
Yeah.
They're making money off of it.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
those who might not be familiar with how this works, give us some examples of how people are getting taken advantage of with these types of scams.
Right. It is the manipulation of emotions. Persons are lonely. Persons want to be in communication with other persons. This is why we see the prevalence of social media. Social media across the world. All of these different platforms, because we want to communicate. We want to be in touch with someone. And in some instances, we want to be romantic. We want to feel love. And this is how persons, those feelings, those emotions are taken advantage of. Where scammers target persons who they suspect based on their social media posts, their lifestyle, and they target these individuals. And some people fall suspect to it, and others are able to maneuver themselves around, and they've been informed about the various scam types, so they're not as prone. But there is a percentage of individuals who are going to fall for that. And that's it. It's, hey, I'm lonely. I'm by myself. I'm a single individual, and I want to feel this romantic. I want to get that attention, and fraudsters take advantage of that.
Yeah. So from the things I've seen, sometimes people are in very long-term but long-distance relationships, and they've been together for, well, they think, more than a year even, but they just never can meet. Is that almost always how this works, or what else are we seeing?
Yeah, this is definitely the modus operandi. This is not like if we were looking at a fraud that was being done based on some type of purchase, some type of financial gain, which is an immediate thing where you need to hurry up and do this because you're going to miss this deal. So this is like on the other side of the spectrum, where the individual has to build that relationship, build that trust from the victim, and then they begin this little probe of sort to get monies, to get access to information, and bear in mind as well, Dwight, it's not just financial gain; it's also getting your identity, getting your personal information to use that for another type of scheme. So it's not always immediate financial gain. There's also the risk of losing or your identity being manipulated, and persons taking that information and using that for other types of criminal activity.
Right.
So it's usually a longer process than, let's say, a get rich quick type scheme. It is about building trust, building confidence in that individual, where they are now prepared to send monies for whatever reason to the person.
Yeah.
And definitely anonymity is one of the strengths of that tactic, where the person remains anonymous, but with reasonable, legitimate type excuses and reasoning why they cannot meet, why they're not available. But all of that starts off by building trust, where I trust you, so I accept the stories that you send to me.
Yeah. So just want to say one thing. I don't know if there's something you can do about your audio. You're coming in and out quite a bit, and you're louder at some times. I don't know if there's an adjustment that you can make there. But is there a type of person, a certain profile for the person that ends up being a victim here? Are these generally older people? Is it more women than men? What do we see?
What we're seeing is actually more women are prone to it, but men too fall victims, and it is usually the older females, older the males who are in the latter part of their lives, who are, I guess, like I said, who are lonely and they're looking for some type of companionship and they seek that via a dating site. They seek that via social media. And so that's usually the trend that you're seeing. I'm trying to make some adjustments with this sound for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
So is it always a dating site where you meet these individuals, or are there other ways?
No. It's usually social media. So be it TikTok, Facebook, be it LinkedIn, be it Instagram.
Wow,
but
even
it's definitely-
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But these are all fertile ground for the scammer to introduce and manipulate themselves. Unlike, let's say, email fraud or something about or phishing, where you send out these mass emails, right? Like I said, these are more immediate reward schemes. The individual, the scammer, has to present themselves as a legitimate person, a real person, as best as possible. And so that is going to need some type of platform, a Facebook, a dating site, an Instagram, a TikTok, where you can actually see the person, and you can see their life as the scammer would have created it as well. Because in many instances, these scammers create a profile that suggests that definitely is going to fall in line with their proposal, with their stating. But it's also going to give you the belief that it's a real person. So you can go into their profile and you can see a history of activities. You have to be keen to those types of lures, but certainly it wants to present that I am a real person. I have a life. So you may see a picture with someone with a dog. If they say they're a pet lover, you may see them on a trip. If they say they're traveling, so you see that they're presenting themselves as a real person. If they indicate that they work for a particular company, you may see things related to that particular company on their profile as well. So all of these things are building a false identity to lure that person into believing that this is an actual real person and this is someone I can trust.
Are there fears? I mean, I have fears. Let's put it like that. That with AI and AI getting so good every day, so much better than it was the day before, that this is only going to get worse with more realistic images and fake voices, and just really taking it to an extreme of questioning everything and not knowing what's real and what's not real. Is it going to get worse?
Most definitely, right. The AI, I think, in previous appearances, I would have indicated AI is definitely the game changer. And what we see a year ago with AI and deep fakes, today they can take a photograph and put me on a beach in Jabim, so to speak. and so definitely AI has changed the game, and it boils right back down to basic tactics. Get on a phone call. I mean, if you are meeting someone online, as soon as possible, get on a phone call with them. Get on a video call. So you can start to weed out some of the fake or the untruths of that individual. So and also you certainly have to be ever so more cautious now into what you're revealing or what you're exposing in regards to your personal information. We have this tendency of posting, perhaps we're on a trip or we have gotten into some sort of financial gain, or even, and you asked about LinkedIn, as a matter of fact. So LinkedIn obviously is more of a business type site. So individuals are listing their job title. They are the vice president, they're the president, they're the senior manager. All of these things now attract a fraudster, because nowadays that suggests, well, if you're in a position of authority, you also should be making a lot of money.
Right.
And so these are the type of persons that are targeted based on their profile and their review, and the fraudsters going in and reviewing that profile.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned it before. This is in the billions of dollars with how much money has been lost as a result of these scams. We had a caller a couple months back who mentioned this on the air, and I know if the people in the studio were surprised. It sounded like he'd been tricked. But do we have any idea how common this is in the Bahamas?
Well, we're not very good at we're documenting, let me not say documenting, certainly the reports as they come out from the police don't really narrow down into these types of instances. They're really going more just on digital and fraud crimes. And we would have seen in the police report that cyber crimes as a collective would have increased, say, about 4%. How much of that is attributed to scams or romance scams is something that we would have to drill down into a bit more, and that's important. But that's an important factor that, without a doubt, I would suggest that certainly a percentage of that increase would be attributed to these types of scams, these types of romance scams as well, where persons are duped out of their financial, out of their resources.
Yeah,
And it does, again, we see the trend. If as we move more to this digital platforms and these digital arenas for our communication and our business transactions, then certainly that's where the criminals are going to move to, because that's where the victims are.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Dr. E, while we have you here, I'm just curious about this. So many people meeting online and so many people in relationships, in long-term relationships, and never, which is shocking to me, never meeting the person. What's happening here? Is it because of some of the things we were talking about earlier? It's so difficult to find somebody that you can gel with, and then you meet this fake online persona who's perfect. Is that what's going on here?
Yes, a lot of that is happening because we want to feel connected. We find that for a lot of people, especially if you have a lot of anxiety, the idea of going out or meeting people in person sometimes is so nauseating that people will gravitate to more of these online relationships. So when they haven't met for months or even a year, they think it's normal, right? Like that we can be connected through this electronic device. I think it becomes scary when we start to really share personal details with this person who we've never physically met to know if they're real in real life. Because I've had clients who've told me stories about people they've met like this who are in prison, and they keep these online relationships going, people on the other side of the world. And I ask them questions like, because even Gamal mentioned the idea of going on video with them, but there was one where they went on video and it was like an AI video. So they're getting so creative now. You need to make sure you're on video with a moving actual person. Wow. Because some of the dupes are really, really good, but it's this idea of we want to feel connected.
This is terrifying.
Agreed. And to Dr. E's point, the connection, this vulnerability, and let me not use the word vulnerability, but this genuine human nature of that is just manipulated. It's unfortunate. Persons will manipulate what we should see him as a natural desire, which is real. And this is how criminals act. They go on these natural desires and they twist it and they manipulate it into something negative. So it's unfortunate, but that's the reality that we're living in now.
Yeah.
The world that we're living in.
My goodness. So this can get even scarier when it comes to violence and human trafficking. Let's talk about that and that connection with these types of scams, these online scams.
Right. So again, with the police report, we see that again, it's about a 67% increase from last year, right? And this is where it gets scary, like you said, because now we see where domestic violence is where individuals are taking that anger, they're taking that anxiety, and they're translating that into something where persons can get physically hurt. You are exposed financially in some instances, but now you see where the individuals do make contact with a person, and again, it could just be a relationship that has gone south, where persons resort to violence and abuse in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And again, it goes back to the individuals or the victim, their desire. It's a genuine desire, but they do not know how, in my opinion, they do not know how to manage that and not put themselves in harm's way.
Well, all right. So, what can be done to get the information out? I know a lot of people who've never been in something like this will be saying, "Well, these folks who get caught up in this are just plain stupid." But often the excuses, like you mentioned, Gamal, are amazing, right? I can't do a video call because I'm on a little key somewhere, and or I'm 12 hours ahead of you, so it'll be midnight or whatever. We don't have electricity. I'm on a safari and I can't do a video call because of the lions. Whatever. There's something always. How do you get the message out that you got to make sure that you're not being duped?
Getting the message out is I think, the easy part, Dwight. I think, I'll be honest, the challenge is it's not happening to me mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen to me. It's going to happen to that other person. It'll happen to that other person. But me, I'm in control of my feelings. I'm in control of my emotions, and no one is going to dupe me. And I think what it calls for is, sharing and having informed conversations with individuals. But I think the message is out there. It's just getting over that ego, that embarrassment, that shame that comes along with all of this. And so that person's really do a self-assessment of who they are and where they are, and the fact that they are exposed. We're all exposed. The mere fact that we're online and we interact in some form or the other on social media, and we go and we pull up our bank app, we register for university, we're exposed in one form or the other. Is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to continuously monitor, check, not just your online status and your security, but even your emotions, your anxiety, your anxiousness to be a part of a particular thing, whether it's something romantic, whether it's some new form of making fun, getting money. All of these things are driven by ego and our desire to, yes, we don't want to be alone, but we also want to be rich. We want to get money and all of these other things that are fighting against us daily. And for a security consultant, for a crime consultant, it's this consistent conflict where you see persons who should know better.
Mm.
They should know better, but it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen to me. Oh, this seems so good, and the person was this, and the person was that, and it turns out to something that's untoward, unfortunately.
My goodness. We're talking with Gamal Nuri with Preventative Measures. Dr. Edrika Richardson is also with us, marriage and family therapist. We're talking about romance scams. Don't get taken advantage of, right? So we've got some messages coming in, people with their experiences. You can call and message us as well. Text us 422-4796 and call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Gamal, I've seen like a documentary. I mean, these people are really in it for the long con, right? And I saw one case where the scammer actually gave money to the victim. And so obviously, if you're going to be giving me money, then when you ask for that big thing later, I can trust you because you've given me money before, right? And so all manner of things these people are willing to do to get you in the end.
Right. And this is, again, in an effort to build trust, to build that relationship with the person. So there would be some dating, there would be some offerings of apparent generosity to lure you into letting down your guard. And these are all tactics that you see individuals use to cause the person to be a bit more comfortable with that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual. It's not unusual for that, not just sending of money, but also sending of gifts.
Yeah.
Little things that now, when you add that up, it's like you go to the carnival, you're playing a game, you're playing a little hoopla type game, and so you spend $20 on that, and they give you a $2 prize.
Right.
So you feel like you won. You feel like you win because it's building up confidence, it's building up trust. These are all tactics that are used by scammers, by criminals across the board. We befriend the individual and we make them feel comfortable, and you let that guard down, and you get exposed.
Yeah.
And then you take advantage of it.
Love roulette.
Yes.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to all of you.
Hi.
Yeah, we all seem to be in a relationship with Microsoft, the operating system, that continuously to evolve and attempt to, well, we legally accept these agreements without even reading them. You know, when you're installing an operating system and then you come to the very last bottom, Kamal, where it says, click here, saying that you've read that agreement. I don't know how many people read the agreements that they're making with. But anyway, I was saying to you earlier, Dwight, that a certain version is going to be obsolete. And the idea I had was for you to suggest to Kamal, relating to finding an alternative for persons who may not want to continue along the path with Microsoft, that relationship. And maybe you two can address that and find something to sell to the public. But Gamal, I'm trying to find an 84-year-old in the United States. Okay. Very important that I find this gentleman. He may be in a hospice. I don't want to use PI. What alternatives do I have to find him? Because, you know, using Social Security search numbers, you could land up in jail doing that. What alternatives from a technical perspective would you suggest I go about finding this gentleman?
Oh, boy.
You can pass my contacts on.
Right. Caller, I think I have your number already, but give just for easy reference, leave your number a day with. Oh, he's gone. I don't think he was serious. Was he serious? That was a very weird request in my 13 years of the radio. I think that has to be up there with the. Oh boy.
So there's the first, There's the first. There's the first.
I'm worried. I'm very worried now.
But to harp on that a little bit as well, Dwight, we do when we sign up for these various platforms, we whether it's Microsoft or the various social media groups, just to harp on a bit, and that we have to appreciate too the fact that they have our data, they have our information, and so we have to appreciate that as well as persons who are online. That this sense of anonymity and privacy, for the most part, is very much gone. And if you don't recognize that while you're surfing and you're in and out of the internet, that you're sharing your data, you're sharing, and when I say data, everything from your name, your lifestyle, your location, all of us have a unique IP address that we sit on to get onto the World Wide Web. So appreciate that hackers, that scammers are also monitoring that, and they're seeing that you are in the Bahamas versus that person who may be in South Africa. They know this thing. So this is how they're infiltrating and getting you to understand and accept them because they've already done their homework.
Wow.
They've done their research. They've done their investigation. So us sitting on the internet, and when we agree to these different platforms to get onto LinkedIn, to get onto Facebook, and yes, they do have their security, but these entities are also breached. And so our data gets out there. We go onto Amazon, all of these platforms, WhatsApp, all of these things expose us. So we have to appreciate that we are exposed. And when we see someone coming to us and speaking as if they know us, maybe they do, more than you think.
My goodness. Wow.
More than you think.
Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Very nice show. I'm calling to let you know that fraud and scams is something that has been going on for a very long time. The employees of Windic City and City Market have been defrauded of their pension and severance money. And this is very wrong. I hope that the government does do something concerning this, or the people who have done it go to jail for a very long time.
Yes, well, that is still a legal matter there. I hope it is resolved soon. Of course, today we're talking about romance scams. But I hope that is resolved shortly. Wow, Dr. E, I'm sure you've run across people who have met online and were long distance for a long time, and I'm sure there are people out there saying, "Well, my cousin met somebody like this, and he's doing okay, she's doing okay, and so I will take my chance." What do you say to anybody who, or is that just fake itself? Is that no way to start a relationship?
No, there are definitely matches you can make through either dating apps or online premises. And just make sure that at some point, though, you have a parameter as to, by this point, we're going to meet. Because in the year we live in now, with the way things are, there's no way you can't see somebody within at least 6 months' time. I don't know what kind of extreme circumstances they can't figure out how you guys can connect. So I think if if the person is being really hesitant about that or why that can't happen, then you should really have questions and figure out whether or not you're going to go forward with this. But you really should meet the person.
Yeah. I'm wondering, Kamal, if this picked up during the pandemic. I mean, there was, a year and a half, 2 years, many couldn't travel, so was that a great time to like, oh, no, we'll never meet because, God knows when. Do we see an increase during that time?
So, yeah, certainly we see things like pandemics, wars, financial crisis. All of these things are used as excuses as to why I can't travel or we can't meet. There are instances where persons may present themselves as military. They may present themselves as some top secret, and it may sound funny, but they present themselves as some top secret agent, and they can't reveal their identity. They can't reveal their photographs, and persons are falling for that. Because it's again, it goes back to just appealing to that desire, that need to be wanted, and the attention this person is now giving you, notwithstanding their inability to give you the information that you want. So yes, the pandemic is just an example of the many different reasons fraudsters would present to individuals as to why they cannot show themselves or meet with you in a feel and touch real world scenario.
That's wild.
So so this is it. And it's working because like we talked about earlier, this is $1.7 billion. This is So this is definitely working. This is not something that's just happening and you have this there's a little window of success. Fraudsters are making tons of money on this. And again, it isn't the average amount of money is anywhere between $25 to $3,000. Okay, but now if you multiply that by 100,000 people or 1 million people around the world, it's quite a bit. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Wow.
So we're not even suggesting one. I'm not suggesting that meeting and interacting in persons on social media is all bad, but you have to appreciate, like I mentioned a few moments ago, how you're exposed when you get on these platforms. You have to also appreciate that the individual is not coming and asking you for $1 million. They're going to ask you for $50, $500, something that you think, oh, this is nothing. But they're asking that from 100,000 persons, $50 from 100,000 persons. And that's where you see this happening. And then there are the one or the fewer are individuals who are now getting duped for tens of thousands of dollars because now my son is in the hospital and we don't have insurance and we need to have an operation done. And they've been talking to this person romantically now for the last 6 months. When you have the funds, you're going to send that money.
Wow.
Because they've appealed to your desire to be a part of their life. They've appealed to your desire to be a good person. And you, for the most part, you probably are a good person.
Yeah.
But it's being used against you.
My goodness. All right. So, so that is what you said earlier. That's a very big warning sign. If they tell you they're a Secret Service agent or a spy or working for the government, and that's definitely...
But there are reports there have been instances of that. I hear you laughing because you're figuring it's so wild, right? But it's where we are. It's very wild, and it's this is how they make movies because they're looking at real life situations where it's happened.
My goodness. Wow. Okay, this texture says, Dwight, these scammers got so tricky they used a pastor who I communicate with on Facebook to message me to send funds to get this money that they inherited. I almost fell for it, but I called the pastor to ask him about it, and he warned me because a few people called him to say the same thing and to send money. Oh, man. Okay. Well, look at that.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, so again, this is what you call like a third-party type scam where they would steal the identity of someone you trust or use someone else in a position of authority, be it a pastor, a counselor, a third party, and they would use that individual who would help to persuade, because they might have gotten the funds from that individual, and now they're telling you that this is a good thing, this person is honest and sincere, and not realizing that they're being used as a part of the overall scam. So there are different tactics, again, as I mentioned, that are used that are not necessarily you being the direct contact, where they would use a third party or an agency. You've seen in the past, and it's not necessarily a romance scam, but there's some type of reward involved for you doing something,
Wow. This texture says, Dwight, I'm a taxi driver and I have a friend who drives taxi as well. This is already going downhill. I've seen firsthand where he sends her up to $500 at one of these money transfer places. He sends this person money several times a month. This has been going on for a few years. I've tried to intervene, but to no avail. What can I do? He believes that this person loves him. She has a beautiful profile picture. My goodness.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah, yes, right. This is a part of these are the tactics that are used. We have these photographs of individuals who are uh, who are absolutely gorgeous, handsome, gorgeous, whatever term, right? And so you're like, this person actually loves me. This person wants to give me the attention.
Right.
You know? And so one thing you can tell, especially on platforms like Facebook, and you see where the individual is reaching out to you and they only have one friend. You go to their Facebook page, and the Facebook page was created in February 2025. You have a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's an obvious flag. That's an obvious sign where you have someone who is perhaps targeting you, and that profile is not even real.
Yeah.
You look at their friends. You look at when the page was created. You look at who are they identifying. You see how much activity is on that page. There's one photo with them. So those types of things are red flags.
Yeah. So in a case like that, where this friend is just ignoring all the red flags, I mean, should you say, well, if you love it, let it bankrupt you? I mean, just as long as it makes you happy, or do we really need an intervention? Doctor, you can answer that as well.
Yes, they need some intervention. They probably need to work on understanding like self-love, like we talked about earlier, and making sure that they aren't just finding love from empty connections or internet connections, because we can all be susceptible to these things. So watch what you click on, people. Watch who you have all these long-term conversations with. And protect yourselves. Because I've heard many stories where people are sending money and have never met people. And I'm telling you, the lines that the scammers use, top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Well, Gamal, we've seen that WhatsApp, at least, is allowing, stopping people from taking your profile picture, because we know that people do use other people's pictures and claim that they are that person. What should you keep in mind about your own presence on the internet, on social media, so that you can prevent yourself from being used by a scammer to trick other people? Can you do much at all?
Yeah, yes, you can. You can limit the amount of information that you share online, and that comes with the balance of why am I online. I want to tell people about my life. I want to share that I'm doing stuff. No, you have to minimize that, because this is the information that persons are doing. It's called social engineering. They're seeing your lifestyle. They're seeing your life played out in front of you, in front of them, in front of the world. You're traveling. You just got a new outfit. You just went to the hairdresser. You just got a new car. All of these things, persons are watching and manipulate, and they're going to use that to manipulate you. So reduce the amount of information you share online about what's happening in your life. Do not fall for this friends. Hitting on Facebook a bit. Friends. These people ain't your friends. I mean, you have 1,000, 5,000, 6,000 friends. Don't believe that. That's not the truth. You don't have them. Maybe you know 200 persons out of those 5,000 persons. And out of those 200 persons, you probably see maybe 50 of them. We fall into this, and we fall into this falsity or this make-believe world of this popularity. And this is what we want to be. This is all a part of this. I'm alone. I want to be known. I want to be loved. I want the attention. So pull back on what you share online with your quote-unquote 5,000 friends, and you only have really maybe 50, and maybe only 2 are really your true friends in the Himalayas. Also monitor what do you put online regarding your financial position.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we put our credit cards, we purchase items, and we save that card to that platform for ease of purchase later. Right? And it is convenient, but I don't recommend that either. I recommend every time you go in, you put in your information. Do not save it for ease of purchase for future reference.
Wow.
I would also suggest persons, stay alert to the scams that are happening around you. Stay alert to what's happening with what we get in the newspaper, the different news feeds. Because if it's happening in Barbados, if it's happening in Miami, Cuba, it's definitely happening in the Bahamas. We're not isolated. We're not unique. We're not so exclusive from being targeted by criminality.
Yeah.
Persons come here, we brag about our visitors, and again, some of these persons do not have good intent. So you have to be careful of that. So monitor what you're putting online, reduce that exposure, and ensure that you stay alert to scams and trends that are occurring around the country.
Okay, good advice there. Gamal Nuri, with preventative measures, that people know how they can reach you for more information, or if they want to find people in the giant United States. I don't know if you offer those services, but let people know how they can get in contact with preventative measures.
But certainly preventative measures can offer all of those services. We provide a wide range of services. You can find us on all of the social media platforms. I can be reached directly at 357-9949. So definitely, folks, stay alert. There's nothing wrong with being in love. There's nothing wrong with showing your love. These are good things. Let's just hope and pray that this good feeling is not used against us.
Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Yeah. And Dr. E, how can people reach you on Valentine's Day and any day?
They can go to my website, www.rpc-ltd.com. Again, rpc-ltd.com. Or they can send a WhatsApp or call 425-0718.
Okay, thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Enjoy. Thank you both for wonderful discussions this morning. Really appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. And folks, be sure to pick up today's Guardian Business section in the National Guardian for the latest in business news. This portion of the show brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Everybody have a safe, wonderful Valentine's Day. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back on Monday morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Precious people always tell me that's a step too far. Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
With escalating global conflicts, are you ready for what's next? Join us at RF Bahamas Economic Outlook on March 12th at Bahamar, where top global and local experts will break down the key economic, political, and social trends shaping our future. Hear from Admiral Mike Rogers, former head of U.S. Cyber Command, and more. Plus, gain CPD credits, powerful insights, and high-impact networking all in one day. Don't miss out. Secure your spot now at rfbeo.com. That's rfbeo.com. RF Bahamas Economic Outlook. See you there.
The CIBC Caribbean Realtors Hub helps potential homeowners meet their best fit. Phew.
Honey, you missed a spot.
Enjoy up to 95% financing and up to 35 years to repay. And in the Realtors Hub, you'll discover everything you need to know about finding and buying your dream home.
I'm on it, there.
Make your biggest move yet. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/Realtors Hub to get started today.
Spain sounds like this. But with a little Caribbean, it can sound like this. The world needs more Caribbean. And with FedEx, you can ship your products to every corner with increased cargo capabilities, 24/7 shipment tracking, and shipping tools. Take your business worldwide and enjoy life a bit more like us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com, the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.